Hi there, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. So, welcome to Phase 1, Lesson 1, and today we're talking about candle divination. Now, interesting fact is, this is my third take on the candle divination actually. So, I kept on getting a lot of interference on the video. Once I start playing it back, it's like white noise, and you can barely hear what I'm saying. So that's been quite a challenge, and then of course there was a corrupted file, struggling with uploads, and all of the others went fine. As you all know, you've seen those ones that have been uploaded, and I've just been struggling with candle divination. So one of few things could have happened. When you start doing divination, you're drawing in a lot of energy, and that's something to keep into account. And being the lazy witch that I am, I didn't actually clear my space before doing any of that. So actually, I can show that to you. I've now used. I'm not a big fan of white sage, but I've been using the tribal soul clearing energy, and I just smudged the room a little bit now with that. Did a quick take, so everything seems to be working fine now. So let's hope that this one will go up and be uploaded within the next few hours. So wonderful. Let's start with this. Yeah, of course, there could be some other factors because I decided to do this reading for myself and to show you guys and do a more of a financial reading. And maybe that was also a mistake. So what I have done is I've already started, lit the candles and such. This one's already dripped down. I've already asked my question. And then the tea light candles. I prefer to use the tea light candles when it comes to the water wax divination because they burn down quite quickly. They make a lot of wax. They're easy to handle into the bowl of water over here. Of course, you can use a pillar candle. It's just that every time that I formulate a new question, I actually like to use a new candle. I don't specifically like using the same candle over and over and over again. And the cost of candles today can become quite high, especially when you start buying pillar candles. And I've got a lot of pillar candles, but I use them for other things. But these ones, they just take a long time. These ones, they take a long time to burn down to get you enough wax to actually do a reading with. So even though I love these and they're very aesthetically pleasing and they smell so good, they're just not practical for me personally. Although at the end of the day, this is all up to you. If you're going to feel more comfortable using a pillar candle, you're more than welcome to do it. You'll see that when I do spells as well, I get little tapers. They're not much bigger than birthday candles, actually. It's just that I need to wait for the candle to burn down completely, and I don't want to leave it unsupervised. So using a very long taper, using a pillar candle or such, it becomes a fire hazard because I start moving away. I've got 5 little pups that needs feeding and this and that. More than one of them has got health issues. So yeah, so let's get started with this. So when we start looking at candle divination, we're actually looking at one of the oldest forms of divination. As long as there's been candles, there's been some form of candle divination, but it goes back even further. And there's one type of divination in here that we're not going to do today, and that is fire gazing or flame gazing. You can actually do it in the flame of a candle, but that is something that's a bit more difficult to record. So we're going to go over the more practical ones that we can actually record, and maybe one day we'll all get together, light a bonfire and do a proper fire gazing. But that's actually where fire divination starts. And I mean, your wax divination, your candle divination and such is all spin-offs of your traditional fire gazing or fire divination. So The idea with fire divination is to connect to the higher self. Usually it would have worked very similar to how you would use a crystal ball or black mirror or water scrying. You would stare into the flames until you start seeing certain symbols, certain pictures, and then you would actually take those symbols and see what they would mean, and also how you feel about them. So it's not just up to the meaning. So if you go to page 22 of the lesson, um, we've spoken a little bit now about candle divination, but on page 23, you will see a list of colors and meanings for candle divination. Now, red would be for love and relationships, green, prosperity, careers, jobs, abundance, all of the way down. You can go to, let's say, turquoise would be protection, healing, wisdom, intuition. And so we go on and on with that list. This is by no means a full list. I mean, the amount of colors currently out there, is enormous. I mean, I could go on for pages upon pages, because nowadays you get a candle in every shade. At the end of the day, I prefer white candles. I usually use white candles for everything. I might use a grey one to just show a balance, that balance between white and black. But for most things, I'll just go for plain white candles. I always say there's no witch 1,000 years ago or 500 years ago going like, give me the pink candle. Dyes were crazy expensive. Candles were not colored in different colors. They were all like an off-white color, or a little bit to a yellowish side, and they use the same color for everything. I always say this is like your clear quartz. It substitutes any color. So if you put your intent in the correct way, then you will not have a problem. So going to page 24, the first one that's on there, and that's the one that we're going to struggle to film, would be the candle flame divination. So this is where you're going to light your candle and you're going to sit and look at it. Now, that's very difficult to do on camera, but I am going to light one for it. I'm going to try it out. Not that it will do that much, unfortunately, on camera, but I've got it here, and I'm going to try and hold it a bit closer. Actually, I need to just stand it here. I'll stand it right there, and with my black, we can see the flame quite brightly. Now, I've closed all of the windows, I've closed all of the doors. That is very, very important when working with any type of candle, wax, or flame divination, because you don't want the flame to move for the wind, for instance. Now, this is one of the tools that they use to divine weather. So, and per that, we're going to do the rest. So, I am seeing a very slight halo. It's almost non-existent. Okay, so I don't know if you can see it on there, but I've got the wick sparking the whole time. So that to me is the biggest indication of this one. So I did ask a question. My question on this one is, how will the next week impact my life? What will impact my life in the next week? And see, I keep on seeing the wick making little sparks, tiny little sparks. I'm not really seeing a bright enough halo. The reason why it's moving is just my breath at the moment. But it is getting quite long. When I'm looking at the other candles, this one is quite long. Okay, right, so spark in the good, where good news is imminent. So I'm guessing I'm going to get some pretty good news within the next week. Now, I've just done a very basic, very general question, which means I'll get a very general answer. But I also want to look at the bright flame, good fortune, but potentially short lived. Okay, so I'm getting good news. It's temporary good news, and I'm going to keep you guys updated on that. But I'm getting some temporary good news, and I think we'll see how that goes actually. I'm getting that, but it is at least good news that I'm getting. It's some good fortune. It's just a little bit short lived, but it'll probably open up to something bigger because I can see the flame at bottom growing a little bit fatter there. So it will seem short lived, but it'll possibly be permanent at the end of the day. So yeah, that's just a very simple one. It's one of the oldest ones. We're not going to go into that too much. As I always say, it is a nice one to do. This candle, however, I use the candle wax dripping, and we can see it's dripping down here on the one side. So it's my right side, it's your left side. Always make sure that it's completely standing completely centered, that's level. So this one is quite nice and level. It took me a moment to get it quite nicely and leveled. But it's dripping down on the one side, it's my right side, it's your left side. And my question on this was, how was everybody that is part of HOS at the moment going to do? Will everybody be fine in the next week? Will everybody be doing good? Will there be some abundance or prosperity, whether that be financially or emotionally or mentally or physically? And it's to me a very clear answer, yes. So this candle divination is purely for yes and no questions, and I got a yes. So abundance to each and every one of you. Let me know about that. But now comes the one that you're going to use the most in the future. And this is why the camera is angled like this, because I would like to bring you guys a little bit closer to see what I'm doing here. Let me not burn myself with a candle. A few years ago, I burned my cloak and everything with a candle. And there we go. Just one bowl here. And there we go. So you're going to need, and this is why I use tea light candles, because, well, I can't really shift it now, but it's already completely full of wax, just ready for me to use. And you're going to have your glass bowl or a ceramic bowl with some water in, because you want the wax to just solidify almost immediately when you pour it in. And it's not going to be a slow movement, it's going to be dumping out the wax as quickly as what you possibly can. So I've already asked for some guidance on this. I've cleansed my space. I've done a little bit of a prayer. I do believe in doing a prayer. So my prayer usually goes like, well, that's my personal one. You can obviously formulate your own one. My one usually goes like, witches on the other side, spirit guides, angels, goddess, God, whomever is hearing my call at the moment, I ask you to please be with me and please help me with this divination tool to give me an accurate and helpful reading. So I'm going to formulate 2 questions here. So the first question I am going to ask is about the future of this academy. And how will the future of this academy be? And immediately it's solidified. I usually just leave it a moment, maybe put some more water over it before I take it out, just punch it down, just make sure that's solidified. And I'm taking that out, and that to me looks very much like it. Well, from this side you can see it very much. like a Chinese dragon. See, this is the problem with white. You're not seeing all of the detail. I'm going to take some photos of this and put it on the group as well, on the WhatsApp group. But this to me is personally a Chinese dragon. So when we start going towards, so on page 27, there is actually a symbol and their meanings that it goes from page 26, 27, 28 and on to 29. And of course you can add to this. I will always say that there is so many symbols and you might need to look some up. I've just started you off. You can sit and make your own little symbol dictionary if you'd like, as you find new ones, you know, do 2 or 3 pages for A and B and so forth. So the dragon shows strength, courage and transformation. Now I know actually exactly what this means in terms of the question, because of my question being the future of HOAs, and I'm going to need courage. I left everything to actually go forth with this, and at moments I'm quite scared, you know, is it going to go well? Will everybody receive me in a positive manner? And things like that. And then it shows a transformation, which is exactly where I am. Last night I sat meditating quite a bit on the Fool card, which is a new journey, going into a new transformation, showing that you need to take that leap of faith, that you need to have the courage to take that leap of faith. So this is actually quite spot on for me. It's really, really spot on. And actually the majority of what I was scared of is I hate being on camera. Yeah, so but I'm getting used to it, guys. After a few videos now, I'm a bit more comfortable than what I was right at the beginning. I can feel I'm not nearly as nervous anymore. So yeah, bringing us the second question. And with this one, I would actually like to ask a question about each and every one of you. I would like to know, will there be spiritual growth for each of you? Will this spiritual growth be positive or will it be negative? What is ahead for everybody that's part of this course? Just dipping it down into the water. Oh, it's making these beautiful little flowers everywhere. Look at that. Isn't that a beautiful little flower? Here's another one. I'll definitely put up some pictures of all of the flowers. Just need to see how this works for me. Okay, well, I'm seeing a boat. To me, this is a beautiful little boat. So it's showing some movement. Oh yeah, no, this is definitely to me a sailboat. The first thing I thought was that little boat painting in the background in The Simpsons, actually. Sorry, huge Simpson fan over here. Okay, right, now we are back. Let's take a look. Let's refer to the notes again. I know that the boat means movement and such, but I would like to go through this. So we don't have a boat here. Let's check if we've got a ship. Also not. Well, let's get to this. So a boat, especially more for a little bit of, it's more for a rowing boat. This is going to indicate some form of movement, probably going from stormy waters into calmer waters. It shows quite a big journey because it is a sea vessel, a water vessel. Water always shows towards emotion, it shows love, it shows peace coming towards you. So this is a journey towards peace, a journey towards love or self-love. And it's moving away from stormy waters into calmer waters. And I see that especially with the flower that was right next to it. And when we start looking at the flower, that's got We've also not got a flower in here, so I've got two things here that I can add to my dictionary. But a flower opens up, and this flower is beautifully open, so it's showing something beautiful coming. Um, it also shows a transformation. A flower is essentially the birthplace of the seed as well, again. So, once again, we're in that transformative state, and it's forming its seeds, so it will grow, it will ripple out. So what I'm getting from all of this is you throw a stone into water, it's going to create a big ripple effect. So on this alone, I would thank each and every one of you for being on this journey with me. I'm looking at this and I'm getting so excited. This is really, it's a transformative journey for me, as I'm sure it is for each and every one of you. And I'm so glad we're together to share this. So thank you all for tuning in for Candle Divination, like 101. And go and try it on your own. Go and try it on your own. The thing with the symbols is this is why I'm so big on the wax divination, because the symbols is something that you're going to use quite a bit in the future. You know, once we start working with tarot cards, you're working with symbolism. Once we start looking at reading a crystal ball, a black mirror, even something as simple as the I Ching, we are constantly working with symbols. Our brain perceives everything in symbols. So it's a very abstract thing. When I look at a boat personally, and you don't need to go by just what I've written here. Yes, a dragon is courage, it's strength, it's transformation. But to me, this is a Chinese dragon. So no legs, it can't stand like a normal dragon. It doesn't have the wings of a normal dragon. It's sailing, it's free, there's nothing holding it back. So to me, that is an even brighter future coming there. And I just broke the dragon's tail off. But to me, that's such a bright future coming, a future with no attachments. It's liberty. And now, just before we go, I'm going to do one more. And with this, I'm just going to ask for general message, anything that the universe would like to tell me and each and every one of you out there. Swirl it around a little bit. Sure, it's solidified. And I got a tree, a little tree. I'm seeing a tree and I'm seeing a woman sitting underneath this tree. She looks quite at peace. So tree, I would say, without, well, we can have a look. Let's see if a tree is in here. It should. Yes, growth, abundance, nature. Well, I'm getting growth and I'm seeing her sitting underneath. So to me, there's going to be a lot of growth. There's going to be a lot of inner peace coming into your life and my life in the coming week or so. And I actually can't wait to get to next week when we're doing like the Witch's Ruins and we're drawing that and we can actually expand on the messages that we've gotten. So I'm thanking each and every one of you for tuning in, and I'm going to see you soon, and I'll be setting up a message with all of you very soon. So check out your WhatsApp. Have a lovely day further and blessed be.